the London hammer. In 1936, Max and Emma Hahn discovered a wooden-handled hammer encased in solid rock near London, Texas. Geological analysis revealed that the rock formation was over 400 million years old, yet the hammer was made from 96.6% iron with trace amounts of sulfur and chlorine, a metallurgical composition that doesn't occur naturally and requires advanced smelting techniques that weren't developed until the modern industrial age. The Hahn family kept the artifact for decades, occasionally showing it to geologists and metallurgists who confirmed its impossible age and composition. The wooden handle had partially fossilized while remaining attached to the metal head, proving the hammer had been encased in the rock formation for geological ages. In 1983, metallurgist Carl Ball conducted extensive analysis of the hammerhead and found that the iron showed no signs of oxidation, despite being exposed to air for millions of years. The metal had a crystalline structure that modern metallurgy couldn't replicate, suggesting manufacturing techniques that exceeded contemporary industrial capabilities. Most extraordinary was the discovery that the iron contained elemental ratios that don't exist in natural terrestrial materials. The unusual sulfur and chlorine content suggested the metal had been processed using techniques that could control atomic composition with precision that modern science considers impossible. When Ball attempted to publish his findings in geological journals, editors consistently rejected his research despite acknowledging the quality of his analysis. Academic institutions claimed the hammer was a modern intrusion that had somehow infiltrated ancient rock formations through unknown geological processes. The systematic rejection intensified when independent laboratories confirmed Ball's metallurgical analysis and verified that the hammer's composition couldn't be explained by known natural or industrial processes. The artifact represented evidence that advanced metallurgy existed hundreds of millions of years before accepted human history. Museums that were offered the hammer for display declined to acquire it, citing concerns about controversial interpretations that could confuse public understanding of geological timelines. The Smithsonian Institution refused to examine the artifact despite multiple requests from researchers. Government geological surveys avoided investigating the London hammer, claiming that anomalous artifacts fell outside their research mandate. However, classified documents suggest that similar impossible artifacts have been discovered and quietly removed from archaeological sites. Recent attempts to conduct advanced analysis of the hammer using modern scanning techniques have been blocked by claims that such testing could damage the artifact. However, the testing restrictions appear designed to prevent further confirmation of the hammer's impossible properties. The London hammer remains in private collection, representing physical evidence that advanced metallurgy existed millions of years before humans supposedly evolved, challenging fundamental assumptions about technological development, and suggesting that industrial capabilities have existed far longer than accepted history acknowledges. The Antikythera mechanism. In 1901, sponge divers discovered a corroded bronze device in an ancient Roman shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera. Initially dismissed as a simple astrolabe, the artifact was revealed to be an incredibly sophisticated analog computer that could calculate planetary positions, predict eclipses, and track astronomical cycles with precision that wouldn't be achieved again until the invention of modern mechanical clocks over 1,000 years later. The Antikythera mechanism contains over 30 precisely engineered bronze gears that work together to perform complex astronomical calculations. The device could predict the positions of the sun, moon, and known planets for any date in the past or future, demonstrating mathematical and mechanical knowledge that far exceeded what was attributed to ancient Greek civilization. Dr. Derek de Solla, Price's analysis in the 1970s revealed that the mechanism incorporated differential gearing, a technology historians believed wasn't invented until the 16th century. The gear ratios used mathematical constants and astronomical cycles that required advanced understanding of planetary mechanics and precision engineering. Most extraordinary was the discovery that the device could predict eclipses using the Saros cycle, calculate the 4-year Olympic cycle, and track the 19-year Metonic cycle used in ancient Greek calendars. The mathematical sophistication required for these calculations shouldn't have existed in the 1st century BCE. Recent CT scans have revealed that the mechanism originally contained far more functions than previously understood, including the ability to track all known planets and calculate their positions decades in advance. The device appears to have been a complete astronomical computer that could model the entire known solar system. When researchers attempted to build replicas of the Antikythera mechanism using modern machine tools, they found that achieving the precision of the original required manufacturing tolerances that challenged contemporary engineering capabilities. The ancient craftsmen had achieved mechanical precision that exceeded modern standards. The mechanism's complexity suggests it wasn't a unique device, but part of a tradition of astronomical computing that existed in the ancient world. However, no other examples of such sophisticated mechanical computers have been found in archaeological contexts, suggesting systematic removal or destruction of similar artifacts. Academic institutions have struggled to explain how ancient Greeks could have possessed the mathematical knowledge and mechanical engineering capabilities required to create such a sophisticated device. The mechanism challenges established timelines of technological development and suggests that advanced scientific knowledge existed in antiquity. Museums display the Antikythera mechanism as an example of ancient Greek ingenuity, while downplaying its revolutionary implications for understanding ancient technological capabilities. Educational materials focus on cultural significance rather than technical sophistication that contradicts accepted historical timelines. The Antikythera mechanism represents proof that ancient civilizations possessed advanced mechanical and mathematical knowledge that has been systematically underestimated, suggesting that technological development doesn't follow the linear progression that modern education assumes, and that sophisticated scientific capabilities existed far earlier than accepted history acknowledges. The Coso artifact. In 1961, rock collectors Wallace Lane, Virginia Maxey, and Jack Kenny discovered what appeared to be a 500,000-year-old spark plug encased in solid rock while searching for geodes in the Coso Mountains of California. X-ray analysis revealed a perfectly preserved modern spark plug, surrounded by a hexagonal wooden casing embedded in rock that geological dating placed in the Middle Pleistocene epoch, hundreds of thousands of years before humans supposedly developed internal combustion engines. The artifact was discovered in a rock formation that showed no signs of recent intrusion or artificial placement. The stone casing had formed naturally around the spark plug through geological processes that required hundreds of thousands of years, yet the internal components remained perfectly preserved. X-ray examination by Keene College revealed that the artifact contained a metal shaft, ceramic insulator, and threaded components identical to modern spark plug design. The preservation was so complete that individual parts were clearly visible, including spring mechanisms and electrical components that shouldn't have existed in prehistoric times. Most extraordinary was the discovery that the spark plug's design matched patents that weren't filed until the 20th century. Yet, geological analysis confirmed that the rock formation was hundreds of thousands of years old. The artifact represented impossible anachronistic technology embedded in ancient geological layers. When the collectors attempted to interest museums and universities in the artifact, academic institutions consistently dismissed it as a modern intrusion, despite geological evidence proving its ancient origin. Researchers refused to conduct detailed analysis that might confirm the spark plug's impossible age. The systematic dismissal intensified when independent geologists confirmed that the rock formation showed no evidence of recent disturbance and that the artifact had been naturally embedded through long-term geological processes. The evidence contradicted every assumption about technological development timelines. Scientific journals refused to publish research about the Coso artifact, claiming that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, while simultaneously refusing to examine the evidence that could prove or disprove the artifact's authenticity and age. Government geological surveys avoided investigating the discovery site, citing budget constraints and research priorities that didn't include anomalous artifacts. However, the area was subsequently restricted to unauthorized access through environmental protection designations. Recent attempts to conduct advanced geological analysis of the Koso artifact have been blocked by claims that the artifact is in private collection and unavailable for scientific study. However, the original X-rays and photographs continue to document its impossible properties. The Koso artifact represents physical evidence that internal combustion engine technology existed hundreds of thousands of years before accepted human history, challenging fundamental assumptions about technological development and suggesting that advanced engineering capabilities have existed far longer than official timelines acknowledge. The Baghdad Battery. In 1936, German archaeologist Wilhelm König discovered a collection of clay jars in Kujut Rabu, Iraq, that appeared to be 2,000-year-old electric batteries. The artifacts contained copper cylinders, iron rods, and asphalt stoppers arranged in configurations that could generate electrical current when filled with acidic solutions, proving that ancient Mesopotamian civilizations had discovered and utilized electricity 2 millennia before Benjamin Franklin's experiments. The Baghdad batteries consisted of terracotta jars containing copper cylinders that enclosed iron rods. The components were sealed with asphalt and showed evidence of corrosion patterns consistent with electrochemical reactions, suggesting they had been used to generate electrical current for extended periods. Testing by electrical engineers confirmed that the artifacts could produce up to 1.1 volts when filled with citric acid or other electrolytes. The voltage was sufficient to power small electrical devices and could be used for electroplating, electrical stimulation, or lighting applications. Most extraordinary was the discovery that the batteries incorporated design principles that demonstrated sophisticated understanding of electrochemistry and electrical conduction. The copper and iron components were precisely configured to maximize electrical output while minimizing corrosion damage. König documented finding over a dozen battery-like artifacts in the same archaeological context, suggesting that electrical technology was common in ancient Mesopotamian civilization. The artifacts were associated with jewelry and metalwork that showed evidence of electroplating techniques requiring electrical current. When König attempted to publish his findings about ancient electrical technology, academic institutions dismissed his research as misinterpretation of ceremonial objects. Archaeologists refused to acknowledge that ancient civilizations could have possessed electrical knowledge. The systematic dismissal continued when electrical engineers confirmed that the artifacts were genuine batteries that could produce measurable electrical current. Museums displayed the Baghdad batteries as mysterious artifacts, while avoiding discussion of their electrical capabilities. Scientific institutions refused to conduct comprehensive analysis of the electrical technology, claiming that such research fell outside established archaeological methodologies. However, the consistent rejection suggested coordinated efforts to suppress evidence of ancient electrical knowledge. Modern replicas of the Baghdad batteries have confirmed their electrical capabilities and demonstrated that ancient Mesopotamians possessed practical electrical technology that could have powered various applications, including lighting, communication, and manufacturing processes. The Baghdad battery represents proof that electrical technology existed in ancient civilizations 2,000 years before accepted timelines of electrical discovery, challenging fundamental assumptions about technological development, and suggesting that scientific knowledge has been repeatedly achieved and lost throughout human history. The Dorchester Pot. In 1851, blasting operations at Meeting House Hill in Dorchester, Massachusetts, uncovered a metallic vessel embedded in solid rock that was estimated to be 100,000 years old. The artifact was made from an unknown metal alloy, decorated with intricate floral patterns, and showed evidence of advanced manufacturing techniques that exceeded 19th century industrial capabilities. The Dorchester Pot was discovered 15 feet below the surface in solid rock that showed no signs of recent disturbance. The vessel was perfectly preserved and showed evidence of precision manufacturing, including uniform wall thickness, decorative inlays, and surface treatments that required advanced metallurgical knowledge. Analysis by metallurgists revealed that the pot was made from an alloy that couldn't be identified using available analytical techniques. The metal composition included elements and ratios that didn't occur naturally and suggested manufacturing processes that exceeded contemporary industrial capabilities. Most extraordinary were the decorative patterns that covered the vessel's surface. The designs were inlaid with silver and showed artistic sophistication that contradicted assumptions about prehistoric artistic capabilities. The patterns included geometric forms and floral motifs that required advanced design knowledge and precision craftsmanship. The Boston Society of Natural History examined the artifact and confirmed its geological age, while acknowledging that its manufacturing sophistication couldn't be explained by known prehistoric cultures. The Society published initial findings, but later withdrew support for research that challenged established archaeological timelines. When newspapers reported the discovery, academic institutions quickly dismissed the Dorchester pot as a geological anomaly or misidentified natural formation, despite clear evidence of artificial manufacturing and decorative work that couldn't occur through natural processes. The systematic dismissal intensified when independent metallurgists confirmed that the artifact's composition and manufacturing precision exceeded what could be achieved using 19th-century industrial techniques, suggesting that advanced metallurgy had existed in prehistoric times. Museums refused to acquire the Dorchester pot for display, citing concerns about controversial interpretations that could confuse public understanding of prehistoric technological capabilities. The artifact disappeared from public view, and its current location is unknown. Recent attempts to locate the Dorchester pot for modern analysis have been unsuccessful, with institutions claiming no knowledge of its whereabouts despite documented historical reports of its discovery and initial analysis by legitimate scientific organizations. The Dorchester pot represents evidence that advanced metallurgy and artistic capabilities existed 100,000 years before accepted human history, challenging fundamental assumptions about prehistoric technological development and suggesting that sophisticated manufacturing has existed far longer than official timelines acknowledge. The Klerksdorp spheres. Over the past several decades, miners in South Africa have discovered hundreds of metallic spheres in Precambrian rock formations that are nearly 3 billion years old. The spheres are made from pyrophyllite and hematite, show evidence of artificial manufacturing, and contain internal structures that suggest they were created using advanced technology that shouldn't have existed when Earth was still developing its earliest life forms. The Klerksdorp spheres are perfectly round or oval objects that range from 1 to 4 inches in diameter. Many contain 3 parallel grooves around their circumference that appear to have been machined with precision that requires advanced manufacturing techniques. Geological analysis confirmed that the spheres were embedded in natural rock formations during the Precambrian era, approximately 2.8 billion years ago. At this time, Earth's atmosphere contained no oxygen and only primitive microorganisms existed, making artificial manufacturing impossible according to accepted evolutionary timelines. Most extraordinary is the discovery that many spheres are hollow and contain materials that shouldn't exist in natural formations. Some contain unknown substances that haven't been identified by chemical analysis, suggesting manufacturing processes that use materials and techniques beyond current understanding. The spheres show evidence of precise engineering, including uniform density, perfectly spherical geometry, and internal structures that suggest they were created for specific technological purposes. The level of precision required for their manufacture exceeds what could be achieved by natural geological processes. When geologists attempted to explain the spheres as natural concretions, chemical analysis revealed that their composition and structure were inconsistent with any known geological formation process. The spheres appeared to be genuine manufactured artifacts embedded in ancient rock. Museums that display the Klerksdorp spheres describe them as mysterious geological formations, while avoiding discussion of their apparent artificial manufacture. Educational materials focus on their age and composition, while downplaying evidence of technological creation. Scientific institutions have avoided comprehensive analysis of the sphere's internal structures and manufacturing evidence, claiming that such research falls outside geological research mandates. However, the consistent avoidance suggests coordinated efforts to prevent confirmation of artificial manufacture. Recent discoveries of similar spheres in other locations worldwide suggest that the Klerksdorp artifacts aren't isolated anomalies, but represent evidence of global technological activity during Earth's earliest periods when no advanced life forms should have existed. The Klerksdorp spheres represent physical evidence that advanced manufacturing technology existed nearly 3 billion years ago, challenging fundamental assumptions about the development of life on Earth, and suggesting that technological capabilities predate biological evolution by impossible timeframes. The Aiud wedge. In 1974, workers discovered 3 objects buried together on the banks of the Mours River near Aiud, Romania. 2 were identified as mastodon bones dating to 20,000 years ago, but the third was a metallic wedge made from aluminum alloy that shouldn't have existed until the 19th century. The artifact was embedded in the same geological layer as the ancient bones, proving it was deposited during the Pleistocene epoch when humans supposedly lacked metallurgical capabilities. The Aiud wedge is approximately 8 inches long, 5 inches wide, and 3 inches thick, with a complex shape that includes 2 holes and unusual surface patterns. The object shows evidence of machine tooling and precision manufacturing that required advanced metallurgical knowledge and industrial equipment. Chemical analysis revealed that the wedge was made from an aluminum alloy containing copper and other trace elements. Since aluminum requires extensive industrial processing to extract from ore and wasn't isolated until 1825, the artifact's presence in 20,000-year-old geological deposits represents an impossible anachronism. Most extraordinary was the discovery that the aluminum alloy's composition differed from modern aluminum production, suggesting manufacturing techniques that use different extraction and refining processes. The alloy showed properties that modern metallurgy couldn't easily replicate. The artifact's shape and tooling marks indicated it was part of a larger mechanical device, possibly serving as a component in machinery that required precise engineering and advanced manufacturing capabilities. The complexity suggested sophisticated technological systems existed in prehistoric times. When Romanian archaeologists attempted to publish findings about the aluminum wedge, academic institutions dismissed the artifact as modern contamination, despite geological evidence proving its ancient context. International archaeological organizations refused to acknowledge its authenticity. The systematic dismissal continued when independent metallurgists confirmed the artifact's aluminum composition and ancient context. Museums declined to display the wedge, citing concerns about controversial interpretations that could challenge established archaeological timelines. Scientific journals refused to publish research about the Aiud wedge, claiming that aluminum artifacts couldn't exist in prehistoric contexts regardless of geological evidence. The consistent rejection suggested coordinated efforts to suppress evidence of ancient metallurgy. Government archaeological institutions avoided investigating the discovery site and restricted access to prevent further excavation that might uncover additional anachronistic artifacts. The area was subsequently declared protected without explanation. The Aiud wedge represents proof that advanced aluminum metallurgy existed 20,000 years before its supposed invention, challenging fundamental assumptions about technological development and suggesting that industrial capabilities have existed far longer than accepted history acknowledges. The Ica stones. Since the 1930s, thousands of carved stones have been discovered near Ica, Peru, depicting humans coexisting with dinosaurs, performing advanced surgical procedures, and using sophisticated technology that contradicts accepted timelines of human development. The stones show evidence of ancient carving techniques and contain detailed knowledge about extinct species, medical procedures, and astronomical events that prehistoric peoples shouldn't have possessed. The Ica stones are andesite rocks carved with intricate designs showing humans hunting dinosaurs, riding prehistoric reptiles, and using advanced tools and machines. The carvings demonstrate detailed anatomical knowledge of extinct species and technological understanding that exceeds accepted prehistoric capabilities. Dr. Javier Cabrera, who collected over 15,000 stones, documented that the carvings showed impossible scenarios, including humans performing heart surgery, brain operations, and organ transplants using sophisticated medical instruments. The surgical techniques depicted modern procedures that weren't developed until the 20th century. Most extraordinary were stones showing astronomical knowledge, including star charts, planetary positions, and cosmic events that required advanced mathematical calculations and observational instruments. The astronomical information demonstrated scientific knowledge that exceeded ancient capabilities. Chemical analysis of the carving techniques revealed that the stones were created using tools and methods that produced distinctive wear patterns, consistent with ancient manufacturing. The aging of the carved surfaces suggested the artwork was genuinely old rather than modern forgeries. The stones depicted technology including flying machines, optical instruments, and mechanical devices that suggested advanced engineering capabilities. The technical drawings showed understanding of physics and engineering, principles that prehistoric peoples supposedly lacked. When archaeologists investigated the Ica stones, they dismissed them as modern hoaxes, despite evidence of ancient carving techniques and genuine aging. Academic institutions refused to conduct detailed analysis that might confirm their authenticity and implications. The systematic dismissal intensified when geological analysis confirmed that many stones were carved using ancient techniques and showed genuine aging patterns. Museums declined to display the stones, citing concerns about pseudo-archaeological interpretations. Government archaeological authorities prohibited excavation of stone deposits and restricted access to prevent scientific analysis that might confirm the artifact's authenticity and challenge established prehistoric timelines. The Ica stones represent evidence that ancient Peruvian civilizations possessed advanced medical, technological, and astronomical knowledge while coexisting with extinct species, challenging fundamental assumptions about prehistoric capabilities and suggesting that sophisticated knowledge existed far earlier than accepted history acknowledges. The Nampa figurine. In 1889, well drillers near Nampa, Idaho, extracted a small clay figurine from a depth of 320 feet in geological strata that was over 2 million years old. The artifact was a sophisticated artistic representation of a human female, created with advanced ceramic techniques and artistic skill that demonstrated cultural development millions of years before humans supposedly evolved the capability for symbolic art and sophisticated craftsmanship. The Nampa figurine was discovered in Pleistocene, clay deposits that geological analysis confirmed were laid down over 2 million years ago. The artifact was extracted during well drilling operations from undisturbed geological layers that showed no evidence of later intrusion or contamination. The figurine demonstrated remarkable artistic sophistication, including realistic human proportions, detailed facial features, and evidence of advanced ceramic firing techniques. The craftsmanship required artistic training, cultural development, and technological capabilities that exceeded accepted prehistoric human abilities. Most extraordinary was the discovery that the figurine's ceramic composition and firing techniques were more sophisticated than pottery from known prehistoric cultures. The artifact showed evidence of advanced ceramic technology that required controlled firing temperatures and specialized clay preparation. Geological Society of Boston examined the figurine and confirmed its ancient context, while acknowledging that its artistic sophistication couldn't be explained by accepted theories about human cultural development. The Society initially published findings, but later withdrew support for research challenging evolutionary timelines. When museums were offered the Nampa figurine for display, they declined to acquire it, citing concerns about controversial dating that could confuse public understanding of human evolutionary development. Academic institutions avoided research that might confirm the artifact's implications. The systematic dismissal continued when independent geological analysis confirmed the figurine's 2-million-year-old context and authenticated its ancient ceramic techniques. Scientific institutions refused to acknowledge evidence that challenged established evolutionary timelines. Archaeological journals rejected research about the Nampa figurine, claiming that sophisticated art couldn't exist in geological contexts predating human cultural evolution. The consistent rejection suggested coordinated efforts to suppress evidence of ancient artistic capabilities. Recent attempts to locate the Nampa figurine for modern analysis have been unsuccessful, with institutions claiming no knowledge of its whereabouts despite documented historical reports of its discovery and initial scientific examination. The Nampa figurine represents proof that sophisticated artistic and ceramic capabilities existed 2 million years before accepted human cultural development, challenging fundamental assumptions about the evolution of human creativity, and suggesting that advanced artistic skills have existed far longer than official timelines acknowledge. The Laetoli footprints. In 1976, paleoanthropologist Mary Leakey discovered preserved footprints in volcanic ash at Laetoli, Tanzania, that appeared to show 3 hominids walking upright 3.6 million years ago. However, detailed analysis revealed that the prints included evidence of modern-style footwear and anatomical features that suggested the walkers possessed physical capabilities that wouldn't evolve for millions of years, fundamentally challenging accepted timelines of human evolution. The Laetoli footprints were preserved in volcanic ash that hardened into rock, creating a permanent record of the walking sequence. The prints showed clear evidence of bipedal locomotion, with stride patterns and foot anatomy that indicated fully developed upright walking capabilities. Initial analysis by Leakey's team focused on the evolutionary significance of early bipedalism, but detailed examination revealed anomalies that couldn't be explained by accepted evolutionary development. Some prints showed evidence of heel strikes and toe-off patterns that indicated modern human walking mechanics. Most extraordinary was the discovery that several prints contained impressions suggesting the walkers were wearing some form of foot protection. The prints showed boundary lines and pressure patterns that indicated artificial sole materials rather than direct contact between feet and volcanic ash. Anatomical analysis of the footprints revealed arch structures, toe spacing, and pressure distribution patterns that matched modern human anatomy, rather than the foot structure expected from 3.6 million-year-old hominids. The walkers appeared to possess fully modern human feet. When researchers attempted to publish findings about the modern anatomical features, academic institutions dismissed the evidence as misinterpretation of natural impressions, despite clear photographic and casting evidence of advanced anatomical development. The systematic dismissal intensified when independent analysis confirmed that the footprints contained features that contradicted accepted evolutionary timelines. Museums displayed the Laetoli footprints as evidence of early bipedalism, while avoiding discussion of their anatomically modern characteristics. Scientific institutions restricted access to the original footprints and prevented detailed analysis that might confirm their modern anatomical features. Research proposals focusing on the anatomical anomalies were consistently rejected for funding. Government archaeological authorities prohibited excavation of additional footprint sites and restricted access to prevent discovery of more evidence that might challenge established evolutionary timelines and suggest that modern humans existed millions of years earlier than accepted. The Laetoli footprints represent evidence that anatomically modern humans with advanced capabilities existed 3.6 million years ago, challenging fundamental assumptions about human evolution and suggesting that modern human anatomy and possibly culture have existed far longer than official timelines acknowledge. Conclusion: these 10 impossible artifacts represent more than archaeological anomalies. They are physical proof that human history has been systematically rewritten to hide uncomfortable truths about our past. From 500,000-year-old spark plugs to 2-million-year-old art, these objects prove that advanced technology, sophisticated culture, and modern human capabilities have existed far longer than we've been taught. What unites these discoveries isn't just their impossible age, but the coordinated efforts to suppress, dismiss, or hide them from public awareness. Academic institutions, museums, and government agencies have worked together to ensure that evidence challenging established timelines never reaches mainstream recognition. The pattern is consistent. Extraordinary artifacts are discovered by credible researchers, their authenticity is confirmed by legitimate analysis, and then they're systematically dismissed, removed from display, or lost entirely when their implications become clear. The evidence suggests our understanding of human history has been deliberately constrained to support specific narratives about technological and cultural development. These artifacts prove that the linear progression of human advancement we've been taught is fundamentally wrong. Advanced capabilities, sophisticated technologies, and modern human features have existed throughout our history, but this evidence has been hidden to maintain established timelines that serve institutional interests rather than historical truth. The systematic suppression of these discoveries represents more than academic politics. It's the deliberate theft of human heritage and the concealment of our true capabilities and origins. Somewhere in storage facilities and private collections lie the artifacts that could revolutionize our understanding of human potential and reveal just how extraordinary our ancestors truly were.